Okay. Hi, I'm Peggy Weis, an artist that uses mixed media and printmaking as their primary vehicle. I just wanted to say a few words about the pieces that I did about 9/11. As I'm sure millions and millions of people, it was probably the most horrific visual images that I'd ever seen, and it was an enormous shock. In addition to being, feeling like my country had been attacked, I felt like my city had been attacked, and even more so, it was the neighborhood that my father's offices were in for many years. He had an office on VC Street, directly across from the World Trade Center, and he had an office on Liberty Street, directly across on the south side. So, this was an area that I knew intimately, and it was scary, and it was horrific, and it was my reaction was purely visceral. I mean, I really didn't even think about it. I had to digest the feelings that I was having. And as the images started pouring in the newspapers and in the magazines, I started putting them into piles and thinking, okay, what's going to happen to these? They're going to pile up just like all the magazines of, Y2K and when Clinton became president and all those magazines that you save or newspapers that you save, and that just didn't seem right. So my emotions were so strong, and I just started ripping the images out and started going up to my studio and started painting and collaging and transferring. And I don't really even remember. I was in such a zone when I did those pieces. It did not come from any part of my head. It really came from my gut. And as they started emerging as flags. And the one was the American flag in its colors as it had been, before the attack, and the other was the colors of all the gray that had completely cast over that entire area and our entire thinking about the country. And the yellow, of course, was all the firemen and emergency people. And so those were the colors that were floating in my mind as I created those pieces. It really wasn't a choice of whether I was going to do pieces about this event. It was something, as I said, that came up from my gut and just poured out. And it was my way of honoring those people that had died and making sure that there was some way in which I was saying, we can never forget the events of 9/11.